AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Knicks Rehab.
Knicks Rehab, y'all.
Top five. This guy's in everybody's top five, apparently. Giannis Antetokounmpo. We want to see what this guy has to say about his future with the Knicks.
LA, the tax is bad. New York, tax is bad. Yeah, hell no.
A lot of people tried to convince me. To go and play there and stuff.
Oh no. So you staying in Milwaukee?
Probably. We'll see. See. Probably. I love Milwaukee. And that's a church right there.
You heard it right there, Flea. AllBall. We back at it. Circling around this Giannis topic. What are you thinking? Is he playing ball or playing ball?
So for me, that video, a lot of people are going to look at it as it's nothing. But you know me, that video told everything. If he was happy in Milwaukee, you would know. Yeah, you love Milwaukee. You may love the city, but the team, the organization, he didn't sound confident as far as, saying he wants to be in the Milwaukee Bucks uniform. How many guys, love the city that they played for, was drafted by, but, sometimes it just doesn't work out. He didn't deny anything. That's my thing. He didn't say, he did say a lot of guys, people trying to get me to go to New York. He didn't say, I'm not playing there. I'm staying in Milwaukee. I'm going to finish my career in Milwaukee. He didn't say that. I think, a lot of these players today, Giannis seems like a great guy, man. Pause. Seems like a nice human being. So guys like that, it's difficult to be kind of nasty and vicious. In business, it's tough to be, a business person and be a great person, a great guy. So a lot of these guys is not going to just come out and straight up say, I want to go to New York, or I want to go to LA, or, Milwaukee, thank you for everything, but I'm definitely not coming back. It's very rare that you get guys like that, But I think, and I've been saying it for 2 years now, and y'all know that, he's one of the guys that I said he's too big for that city. The way the business of the NBA is today, guys can make $1 billion. Guys can make $1 billion. If you think that doesn't sway a guy leaving from one city and going to another, you lost your mind. Just imagine Giannis in a New York Knicks uniform, down there in Midtown Times Square on a billboard. Just imagine how his brand will just shoot through the roof, whether it's sneaker sales, jersey sales. That's something he has to think about. And then if you win a championship, he jumps right into one of the greatest power forwards of all time. We might start talking about him right behind Tim Duncan because his numbers is going to be ridiculous. People may not like his style of play. You may disagree. Hey, but when it comes to the numbers, when it comes to the stats and the analytics that everybody relies on today, his numbers are going to be undeniable. So if he can get another championship and it's in New York with the accolades he already has, I think a guy like Giannis, those are things he thinks about. And, I think he was put on the spot. He felt and he looked a little uncomfortable because, like I said, when you're a good human being, man, you don't want to do nothing bad. And probably in his mind, damn, if I leave Milwaukee, that's fucked up. But listen, this is business. I think it was a lot to tell in that video. I think he wants to be in a bigger market. Now, whether it's New York or LA, I don't know. For me, I think the best place is New York. Not because I'm a New York Knicks fan. Well, that's one reason. But in LA, him, Luka, and LeBron, I don't see Giannis wanting to play with a guy like LeBron. I think Giannis wants to carve out his own legacy, his own path. He wants to be the reason if a team wins a championship. So I think that video tells a lot. People are gonna try to hate and downplay it like it's nothing. But like I said, you know, if it was no option and no nothing to go to New York, he could have shut it down right there. Hey, a lot of guys trying to get me to go there, but I'm not going there. I'm staying in Milwaukee. And then the key word, when he asked him, "Are you staying in Milwaukee?" He said, "Probably." We all know what that means. That's an in subliminal. That's a side. No, he's not staying in Milwaukee. They did Dame Lillard dirty. I don't care what nobody say. Even though that didn't work out. No Chris Middleton. So for me, you know, what is it? Him and Bobby Portis. So listen. Giannis probably got about. Giannis may have about 5 to 7 prime years left. The way the NBA is played today, if he takes care of his body. And I think for him, those 5 to 7 prime years, he's probably saying, I need to go somewhere and try to win 2 championships. Giannis probably wants to be in the talks when you talk about Tim Duncan, the greatest power forward of all time. You know, so that video for me, I think he wants to be in New York. It's just going to be difficult for him to just straight up come out and say, hey, trade me there. Guys don't do that no more. You know, guys like Melo, Raw, you know, you got to think about it. And I'll let Flea cook. Giannis's upbringing, you got to remember, he's humble. He's appreciative. Not saying the other guys isn't, but we see where Giannis comes from, how he came from nothing. They got that video of him being a young boy wiping off the floor with the towel, and then now he's in the NBA. So for him, you know, he may feel like this is just a great opportunity and he don't want to be disrespectful. But let's be realistic. Knicks, go get him, bro. Some of these guys is crying out. Probably is a no. Probably is a no. If it was, I stay. So for me, I'm glad. Big shout out to I Show Speed. You know, that young man is doing great things with his platform. But listen, man, I think Giannis, that probably is what got me thinking he's out of Milwaukee. It's just the right package. And for me, like I said, Doc Rivers is still there. Come on, bro. That shit is a disaster. So I think Giannis coming to New York is it's too much of an upgrade from city to fan base to money. You know, I think everything plays a part. Everything. Business-wise. So for me, you know, I think this is the perfect spot for him. But I think he doesn't want to be in Milwaukee. I think it's something to that conversation. Even though it was very little said, I looked into that a lot. He's out of Milwaukee, y'all. I'm sorry.
Flea, what you thinking? You know, you hate speculation, but we try to reel you in and see if you can get a closer look to the POV, to the aluminum POV, and see what you thinking, man. Giannis leaving this up in the air. At the end of the day, he is adding fuel to the fire. He's way too seasoned in the game for this. You know, what do you think about Giannis' comments and just the situation right now this summer with Giannis and the Bucks and the Knicks?
I don't know. It's been a joy to watch him grow as a player, but it's even funnier to watch him grow and become an American, right? He just over the years has adopted more and more of the corny culture that these niggas do out here. Although a lot of who he is at his core is what makes me feel like he ain't going nowhere, not no time soon, right? Like, this is a dude that is super loyal, right? He's one of the only dudes that I still look at in the league that carries around a level of competitiveness, right? I don't see this nigga in the summertime. You're not gonna see him this summer running around with a bunch of these niggas in workouts, in this run and that run. He don't want to work out with none of you niggas. He don't want to hang out with any. So I still love that about him. He approaches it with a level of, I want to compete, whether it's the regular season, playoffs, or we in the summertime, right? So it just doesn't come off to me that that's going to be the guy that goes up to Milwaukee and says, yo, I want out. I got to see that happen, right? When all those other guys did it a few years back, it was surprising, but it didn't hurt, man. If Giannis, and I would love him for the Knicks, But if Giannis went to Milwaukee and was like, yo, I want out, I'm not even a fan, but that would hurt me. I'm like, damn, this dude wants out of there. Like everything he's done for that organization, like it for me, it's like a perfect marriage, right? They drafted him, everybody passed on him, nobody knew except I threw that video in the chat, except Masai Ujiri. Nobody else in that draft knew who Giannis was, what he was about, what he could potentially turn into. Went there and all he did was just keep getting better and better and better. Every year, you're like, oh shit, this dude is legit. Wins a championship, multiple MVP awards, right? Like, obviously gonna go down as one of the best players ever to play. I just get the instinct, I just get the inkling that dude is like overtly loyal. Like he's just something catastrophic has to happen before he says, yo, I'm out of here. And who knows? Maybe the catastrophic thing is walking into training camp and your second best player is Bobby Portis. Maybe that is what it'll take for you to say, I don't think he liked them waving Dame. I don't think that sat well with him. I don't think that sat well with a lot of niggas on that team, but definitely not Giannis, right? That's not something that I think he signed off on. They did it. They had to do it. Cool. They let Brook Lopez walk. Cool. You bring back Miles Turner. Whatever. Okay.
Well, Flea, hold on, just real quick. Got rid of Chris Middleton.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, it's a completely now. I don't want to be disingenuous and act like Giannis didn't have a part in Drew Holiday's departure. Like I don't want to act like Giannis doesn't have a part in what went on with Chris Middleton. Like that would be phony of me. But at the end of the day, walking into training camp with those guys next to you, and you see how wide open the Eastern Conference is, and you see that this might be a year that you got an opportunity to run it up because shit is a little dicey. I could very well see him like putting some pressure on Milwaukee to make some big moves and get them back to where they need to be. That would be such a surprise, fellas, if I heard him being traded. For me, everybody else is a little different. For me, if I heard Giannis was traded, that in my mind, I'd be like, okay, anything can happen. Anything can happen at this point.
I totally agree with what Flea is saying. Like I get, especially since the LeBron, the decision, how they were introduced to Miami, how LeBron going to Miami was such a spectacle in the internet era. And we forget Shaq was in Atlanta in the middle of the night with Jerry West when he signed with the Lakers. That was a big deal. Charles Barkley going to Phoenix was a big deal. That's why I hate when they go too far with these free agent, the jumping around, the bandwagon, who's the bus driver. Like Barkley, knock it off, man. A lot of stuff that he says, it's almost like he forgets how it is to be wanted. And Giannis is flirting with a lot of these teams, man. Like this is, he's taking advantage of how Flea put it perfectly. Just that this Hollywood American self-promotion style. Like he's really great at this, even though he comes off with the dad jokes and he's not like swag that he doesn't live off swagger like the John Morants of the world and the Ant-Mans of the world. But Giannis has his own thing. He's very comfortable in his own skin, being one of the players that come from around, an international player from the Himalaya. I can't believe I just said the international player, but he's at the forefront of that. It's just talent-wise, and it is definitely a conflict to leave your team because as a basketball fan, like, does it really? We will want to see you same colors, same team, a la Duncan, Kobe, Dirk. With some of it is tainted with KD and LeBron. Like your legacy, you can go chase the ring, but we don't like LeBron. What Avon said. You a man with no country or something like that. That's what he told
Stringer Bell.
Stringer. You a man with no country, and that's how it can feel. And I don't think Giannis would want to leave that. I think Flea is right. I think if he leaves Milwaukee, it's like, yeah, you could come to New York. Yeah, you go to LA, but not winning, it means more, and it's almost like, you know how it is dealing with us. It almost spills over to like outside of basketball. We start talking about your girl, your mom, your family. Like these fans are nasty, man. These fans are nasty. You saw what happened with Westbrook in LA. Fans are nasty, and he's quite comfortable. He's the king over there in Milwaukee. So I like as Flea was talking, it resonated, and I couldn't escape that feeling. Like, yeah, it's exciting to come to New York and all that. It could add on to your legacy, major, but I don't know if it's really in him. I think he's just flirting because he did it like 2 years ago too. He said something like this, and that's when they traded for Dame. So yeah, it sounds good. And he knows how to go viral now. He's with Speedy. Speedy, they just signed a crazy deal, and with Twitch or whoever it was, like a $500 million, something crazy. Speedy and them guys. Shout out to them. So Giannis, man, you know, congrats to you. You figured out the American algorithm. Thank you very much. But I don't think he's going anywhere. I agree with Flea, man. I don't see him leaving AllBall.
I totally disagree with both of y'all.
AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.